Indian exporters bracing for impact as the US confirms it will be going ahead as planned with an additional 25% tariff on goods starting tomorrow. Exports from India will face duties of up to 50%. That's amongst the highest imposed by Washington. The Trump administration explicit in linking higher tariffs to India's continued purchase of Russian oil, which Washington says funds Moscow's war in Ukraine. Trade talks between the US and India have hit a deadlock over agriculture and dairy produce, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi making it clear he's not prepared to make compromises on the interests of his farmers. And for more on this, Ishan Garg joins us live from New Delhi. Ishan, at 25%, a great deal of pain and strain on Indian companies and exporters. At 50%, what kind of impact are we looking at?
Well, considering the fact that America is responsible for roughly absorbing one-fifth of India's oil exports, the blow to Indian companies is going to be substantial. In total, India exports roughly $87 billion worth of merchandise to the US, and that number is expected to fall by about 30 to 40% in just a few months once these 50% tariffs take full effect, which is likely to be in the next day or so. So what we're looking at is an impact on the businesses itself, which are currently concerned about their US customers cancelling orders already, or their shipments being sent to the US now attracting higher prices than they would have when they had left India. But overall, the macroeconomic impact of these tariffs cannot be understated. We're getting various estimates from different analysts, some of them saying that India's GDP could be hurt by about 0.3 to 0.4%, while other analysts say that the impact could be as high as 1% of the GDP. Now, these numbers might sound small, but the impact actually is in billions of dollars, upwards of $21 billion on India's overall economy. Now, this is something Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already hinted at. In a political rally, he said that the economic shocks to India are going to be massive, but he said that the government is committed to not bending down to protect its own farmers and its small and medium businesses. So now the impact that is likely to come in will be better understood over the next weeks and months. But analysts currently are saying that this will not be a small shock, and Indian businesses should look at diversifying their exports to other countries.
All right, Ishan, the Indian government not bending to US pressure because it has taken steps to, I suppose, cushion this impact for its companies. What steps has it taken?
Well, first of all, Indian officials say that they are preparing an economic package of sorts for businesses that might have been impacted from these 50% tariffs. The details of this package, as reports say, they have been unclear, but some of the elements we understand are going to be the government providing credit guarantees to small businesses, also extending the loan repayment cycle for some companies. So these are some of the measures that we are looking at. Apart from that, we are also expecting some sector-specific measures being announced by the government. The officials here in New Delhi had said that they are looking at the shrimp industry in particular, the textile industry in particular, and some help could be offered to these sectors because they employ some of the most vulnerable, some of the poorest people in the country, and the impact on these sectors is likely to be massive. Apart from that, we're also seeing that India is making a very concerted effort to shift its pool of trade partners. In the past few months, we have seen India sign a trade deal with the US, with the United Kingdom. It's also looking at partnering up more with China and Japan so that its products can go to those countries. But of course, the big respite could come from the fact that if there is a peace deal signed between Russia and Ukraine, that could at least offer respite from these 25% extra tariff for Indian exporters, because the biggest reason US says why these extra tariffs have been put on Indian imports is because of India's purchase of Russian oil.
All right, thank you, Ishan Garg. Of course, whether we get that peace deal in Ukraine, that remains to be seen. But for now, it's fairly certain. It looks like those 50% tariffs will hit tomorrow. Thanks, Ishan Garg, live from New Delhi.